Hello. So, update on all my stuff. I might as well talk about it. I don't think I'm going to get legal representation. I think it's a lose lose. and all I can do is give it to God to vindicate and move on. But so today I did have my phone call with that lawyer. He was actually on time, unlike yesterday. When he blew me off and kept rescheduling and then just completely blew me off. But anyway, he apologized, which I respected, and he did make the excuse that he was too busy, which then he was honest and said from a standpoint he doesn't make money unless he wins a case, and it has to be from a business perspective, and he hates that because he wishes he could help me because I've obviously been treated badly, and he hopes that my supervisor gets fired. He did say that he wants to look in to see if anybody else has ever sued my company for not being paid properly, because he did see that. So he said that although my supervisor kept telling me I was going to be brain damaged and saying that kind of crap to me, and the way I was being treated, and then wrongfully being terminated, he said the wrongful he said he goes, I know you don't want to hear this, but it's going to be hard to prove about the wrongful termination. And I'm like, I received a laptop the same day I was terminated. A higher up IT department diagnosed that laptop as crap and sent me another overnighted laptop. My boss rushed me through setting it up by myself without the help of IT, to get through all the firewalls and without diagnosing to make sure it was going to work properly. So I set it up by myself for her to just tell me, oh, we're only going to pay you based on, when the mouse was moving and when when it showed that you were active on your laptops during the months of June through August, which is BS because and I explained to him, and he said that's not right. He said he goes, I don't understand this metrics thing and the way they paid you for your final paycheck. He said, your salary, right? I said, yeah. He said, and they didn't pay you salary for any of that? And I said, no. I said, she's an awful person. She wasn't going to pay me at all. They stopped paying me as soon as my laptop died. And basically, if it wasn't for me going to not only her manager, the director, but also HR, it was when I went to HR is when I actually got any kind of penny out of my company. And she made sure it was like as little as possible. And so hence the only when the laptops showed that I was active on it and I signed in, which is BS. And I explained to him that the IT department, it's a very small department. They prioritized me as low priority because they put people that were in a group as a priority that's higher need than one individual, and I was bluntly told that. I was passed around to different IT people because of the fact they were taking their vacations, so that was another issue with trying to get a hold of somebody. And so I would contact them only to be told they're busy, there's someone on vacation, and the status would show vacation. I said, so I was penalized for not being able to get a hold of IT, and I have plenty of proof. And I told them I had tons of UPS slips showing all the different laptops that they sent me and everything, and communications and everything. And he said I'm trying to think of the word for it. I can't think of the legal word for it, but the fact that my boss was verbally abusive and making it not unfair workplace, toxic, whatever. The behavior she did, he said he hopes she gets fired. That although she kept calling me, saying that I was going to be brain damaged and talking to me unprofessionally with, calling me the names she was calling me, there wasn't anything I could do about that. And it was going to be too hard to fight that. And it was going to be too hard for the wrongful termination thing. But he said he's going to investigate to see if anybody else was fired from the job and try to sue for not being paid properly. So, because he said, I can't believe they didn't pay you your salary. You were a salaried employee. He said, he said, I saw everything you showed me, everything you sent me. I saw all of it. I saw that you got your raise in March. I said, yeah, it was a very small 2% raise. I didn't get any kind of a compensation for doing assistant manager level work. I never got actual training. I had to figure it out on my own and help people. And I was doing everything they didn't want to do on top of my own job. I was expected to sign in 30 minutes early before shift and stay as long as an hour after the fact. And he was like, that's well over 40 hours and they didn't pay you. And I said, no, they did not. My supervisor said, your salary, you have to do it. And same with contacting IT department. They work outside of my work hours. And so I had to contact them during Monday through Friday business hours and chase after them, and I had proof that they blew me off. I sent an email to the director and said, I need help. I'm not getting, I need someone to push this through so I can get IT's help because the VPN issues, the laptop they sent me, blah, 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 blah. And so I had so much proof, but it sucks that companies can treat somebody like that. And he said that he was amazed. He was like really, I could tell in what he kept saying over and over and over, I hope that boss gets fired. And he said, I can't believe this company is that bad. And he's like, I cannot believe this company is that bad. And just his insight into how bad that company is to its employees, he was like, wow. So, and that's not even half of it. So not only did, that supervisor pay me as little as possible for my final paycheck, which was like 5 minutes here and there for the month between June through August, which was barely anything. It wasn't enough to pay my rent or anything. It was so condescending. Anyway, the fact that she sent me to my personal email, and I told him this, she sent me right after she fired me, 15 minutes later, she sent me a PDF that was a generic how to apply for unemployment and then blocked me on that. Made up lies so that I couldn't get unemployment, and I had to fight for over a month with unemployment in order to start getting benefits. And I said, meanwhile, all my bills are rolling in and I'm terrified. And he was like, oh my God. And I said, yeah. I said, so that condescending little PDF and then her pulling that with making sure I wouldn't get benefits. He goes, I can't believe how vindictive that lady is. He said, I really hope she gets fired. I hope somebody finds out the way she truly is and gets fired. And that validation kind of helped, but I wanted to cry because it's like, that helps me, but it also doesn't help because I'm still without a job. And on top of that, what I didn't get to tell him, because it was only a 30-minute conversation, I had applied at another department, and this manager that was from New Jersey, she wanted to hire me over to her department and work for her department. I got along with her really well. I was really excited. I prayed about it, and then my supervisor blocked it. So I couldn't leave and transfer and get away from her. And then she ended up firing me. And then the fact that too, I can't use this job that I spent 2 years working my guts out for. I can't use that on my resume or on any job application because they've blackballed me. So I didn't get a chance to tell him that they've blackballed me, and I can't even use that on my applications and resume. That's 2 years worth of work. And what's frustrating is I made my productivity, I exceeded my productivity. Because of the fact I exceeded it, I was asked to do assistant managerial work to support the team because they were so short-staffed. And, I told him about the fact that I was asked to do the assistant manager thing and wasn't compensated for it, was never put on my official job description that I was doing it. But it was through emails and text messages, so you knew I was doing it. My coworkers knew I was doing it, but I was never legally called, that definition or whatever, that label. So it's frustrating. I worked my guts out for that department, and for one person to blackball me so hard, um, you know, it amazes me. And I feel like it was because of the fact she knew I was Christian. She knew I was Jewish. She she is a Hispanic older lady, very bitter, very insecure, very much of a narcissist from California. I could have obliterated her emotionally because I could see her weaknesses so clearly. I could have, but I'm a Christian. So I bit my tongue quite often, and I'm sure that it was probably, she probably took it as condescending when I told her she's not a scientist or a medical professional to be able to tell me that I'm going to have brain damage over and over and over, and to stop talking to me like that and talk to me like an employee instead of the way she was talking to me. So I think she probably thought that was condescending, and that probably still emotionally damaged her. But oh well. But yeah, I could have obliterated her. I could have made her cry, and I didn't. But that lady sure did do everything in her power to be vindictive towards me, and I did nothing but do my job and did what I was told, and I exceeded it. He asked me if anybody else was treated bad. I said yes. I have a coworker that's black that was also mistreated and bullied by that same supervisor, and then she had a supervisor change not long ago. But her deal with that supervisor was she was not making her quota, and she was not making her productivity. And I said, to be honest, she's passive aggressive, and she deliberately doesn't work sometimes. So she did very, she did the quiet quitting. She did very minimal stuff because she was bitter that she felt like she was being overworked and taken advantage of. And I said, our department is so short staffed, so it just amazes me. And I told him that when I got COVID in January through February, I still worked. I used my PTO only when I didn't have a voice, but I worked, and I said I still made my productivity. He said, wow. I said, yeah. And I had, at the time in January, that was when the worst strain of COVID was going around. So the one that actually put people in the hospital and stuff. I didn't go to the hospital, and I did try to go to an urgent care, and they wouldn't see me because phobic about the COVID, and nobody would see me. I had to do a virtual appointment with a doctor that finally got approved through my insurance that would accept him, and he finally accepted me, but he did not want me at his clinic to see me in person. He did a virtual appointment and put me on some heavy duty steroids and other medications and sent me on my way. Nice guy though, nice as can be, very nice guy. But that's that. So anyway, my scanner printer broke, so I went to the unemployment office because I know they have a lot of stuff that you can use for free if you're unemployed. And so I went to the office, and this poor guy, this poor little short gay dude, he was so nice. He didn't know how to use the scanner, and he was freaked out and nervous, and he was like, I need to go get somebody to get help with that because I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, that's fine. And he, in the meantime, helped somebody else, which I get. And then he took my transcripts, and he was like, you want all of this? And I said, yeah. And he came back, and he was so nice. He was like, I tried to scan it. I hope you get it in your email. And he said, I hope you get it to your personal email, but I don't know because we didn't get a confirmation if you'll get it or not. I said, no worries. You did your best. I said, don't worry about it. And he said, you're very smart. And I said, thanks. He said, your transcripts are impressive. I said, did you notice the one class that did not have an A that basically tanked my perfect 4.0 GPA that was advanced research and statistics? And he was like, He was, wow. He said, yeah, that's a hard class. He said, I can't believe you had to take that. I'm like, yeah, I had to take that. And it was hard. And I'll tell you why it was hard. So the professor that normally teaches it, he wrote a book and we had to purchase it. And the book had errors in it that we found as a class. And the adjunct professor that was teaching us was a lady that barely passed that level herself and was going for her doctorate. And she would giggle. And so we would ask her to do the formula on the whiteboard to show us how to break it down. And she would giggle. And like one time she made an excuse and said, well, I don't have the whiteboard marker, so unfortunately you're just going to have to figure it out. And I said, wait a minute, I know where to get some. And everybody was laughing in class. I just abruptly got out, ran out the class, stopped one of the people in the hall, and I said, I need into that office to get supplies, to get whiteboard markers for the professor that came to class unprepared. And they gave it to me, and I came back with a massive amount of whiteboard markers. And I slammed it down on the podium and then turned around and sat back down, and everybody was laughing so hard. And I wasn't laughing because I'm like, I want to learn how to do this stuff. And this lady isn't going to get out scot-free with her little giggles and her excuses. She's here to teach. And I don't care that she's an adjunct professor. She's still getting paid to do this while getting her PhD and screwing us in the process. So I learned nothing from that lady. And how I got addicted to Starbucks coffee or coffee in general. There was this gorgeous South Korean guy in our group, and he was so generous, and he would buy us coffee when we'd meet up as a study group at the Starbucks. He was so sweet, and he would make the formulas on the paper for us so that we can have that to study. He was freaking amazing. He was such a sweetheart. And I remember I told him he was a pretty boy. And he was like, what does that mean? What does that American phrase mean? And I said, basically you. And my this other student was laughing, and she was like, she explained it to him. She said, a guy that's really attractive and, you know, pretty. And so he was like, oh. He was a sweetheart. We're still really good friends. And he's married and back in South Korea and working out there. But this one professor that we had together was denying him to be in the program and denying him to be in his class, and said that he wasn't going to fit in. And the poor guy was crying. And I told him, you know what? You need to ignore that jerk. He's wrong. If God told you to do this, you do it. You know, this guy was a Christian too. He was such a sweetheart, such a sweetheart. Just a giving heart, so generous and such a sweetheart. And his personality was an INFP. And so he was just a sweetheart, just a genuine good guy, regardless of personality, genuine good guy. And so now he's married. I don't know if he has kids or not. We're friends on social media. But anyway, he, you know, I encouraged him, and he fought, and he got accepted into the program despite that professor. That same professor, I was trying to get a job after I got my licensure. And this lady knew that I went to that school and called that professor. And he told her, yeah, you know, she's Jewish. I'm like, what the heck, man? So she told me that. And I was like, that wasn't his right to say that. And why did you call him when I provided you professional work references? But whatever. I'm like a sliver, like 1% Jewish. It's weird that people see that predominantly in my face, because to me, I look more Scottish than anything. And then the big cheeks, I've always had that. You know, now it's popular. And you see a lot of celebrities doing that to their face. But I used to get bullied for having big cheeks. And that is a Swiss trademark. So, like, you could tell, like, there's a couple Swiss actresses. I don't know how to pronounce their names. But they have big cheeks like me, you know. And theirs is natural, too. One was in The Watchmen, whatever her name is. She's Swiss, and she has big cheeks, and she has blonde hair. But I think she's a German Swiss. I'm not German Swiss. And then the other one was, Renee Zellweger, I think is how you pronounce her name. She's Swiss also. So, or has Swiss ancestry, amongst other stuff. I think she's also Norwegian or Swedish or something like me. So, similar mixture. But anyway, that's what I feel like I look like. So it does boggle my mind when people think, and zoom in on the fact I'm, you know, tiny bit Jewish through my dad and my mom. My mom more so, but tiny bit through my dad. So it just amazes me. And like in grad school, a couple of kids would like, "You look like Sarah Jessica Parker. Are you Jewish?" I was like, thanks, I guess. But whatever. Anyway, yeah, that professor was just he was friends with me though. Even though he said that about me, he was still my friend. We were friends on Facebook. He like on my LinkedIn, he's my friend on LinkedIn. Like I have a lot of professors and friends from school that are on my LinkedIn and have and also my friend Richard Patrick from the band Filter have given me like accommodation, like she's good at this with the skills and stuff. And so I appreciate that. And he would always faithfully tell me happy birthday on my Facebook every single year up until he died recently. He died a year back. And then his wife friended me. And she seems really sweet too. She's South Korean and very super smart lady. Very super smart lady. And she was making the money. So he was like smart and a professor, but she was making the dough, and he admitted that. He told that to the class. But he was funny. He was very Southern, and he would like go into these long spiels and use a lot of stuff that was like Southern like phrases and Southern like rabbit hole stuff stories. And it would confuse my peers so bad, the ones from South Korea. So I would take notes and they would sit by me and they were like, "We could tell you're smart. Can you like let us copy your notes?" So I would like go to work and I would just print off like a bunch of copies and then I'd hand it to them before class, with each class that we had together. So I have a lot of friends that are South Korean on my Facebook because of that. But yeah, they're so sweet. But that guy in particular with the coffee, oh my God, such a sweetheart. Such a sweetheart. And he's doing good and prospering, and God bless him for that. He deserves it. But so yeah, and then that lady that was 15 minutes late that called me but gave me somewhat useful information last week, she called me randomly today and said, "Okay, your course plan is in. These are they sent you the thing of classes that they're going to accept and things that they're not going to accept. And then one class should be flagged with saying that they'll accept it if you can provide not a transcript. Golly, syllabus. I don't know why I keep forgetting that word, syllabus. Anyway, if I could provide a syllabus. So I already contacted my college, but I haven't heard anything back, so I might have to call. But they're wanting me to start as soon as possible. And I'm like, first of all, broke. Second of all, I want to get that sorted, and then I want to collect some classes. So I have my own plan in my head, and I don't like these people rushing me. They must be on like a quota or something, to have students take, that once they're accepted to enroll and start, paying money and getting student loans and making money for the university or something, is because this is twice this week alone to get and it's only Wednesday to get called and pressured about taking courses when it's conflicting information. That Tina lady that didn't like my accent, telling me I can't enroll in anything until January. I'm like, why am I being rushed now? It just doesn't make sense. So my plan of action, I don't care what their plan of action is. My plan is get the syllabus for that class, make sure and get that done. They're not going to let me use the syllabus. They absolutely already denied me on using a syllabus for the statistics class. So I have to take it all over again. So I'm not a happy camper about that at all. I hate statistics like you have no idea. But so I have to take that again per the program specifications. They want that specific type of statistics. I guess I get it. It's just so stupid. And anyway, but yeah, so that guy, when he tried to scam my stuff, it didn't work out. And I told him not to worry. And I explained to him that, you know, old government buildings usually have like steel beams in them it's a fire safety thing. And so the internet will be slow and sometimes sluggish and prevent things as a result. And he said, oh, I thought the bandwidth was just small or something. I said, no, it has to do with the building. I said, so don't worry about it if you didn't do it right. I said, I'll just go to the library and I'll figure it out, pay the, you know, 20 cents or a dollar or whatever it is to scan my stuff, you know, so I can try for that job I'm going for. And he was really sweet little gay dude, you know. And I complimented his shirt because he was wearing like a nice dress shirt that was like a maroonish, rosish, like a rose color, and then he was wearing a waistcoat, like a vest with it. And he was like, oh, thank you. Such a nice little gay dude. He was really sweet, you know. And then I think, you know, I could tell from his reactions though that people must yell at him a lot at the unemployment place. And I don't know if that's like his coworkers, his bosses, or the clientele that go in there looking for a job, but it made me feel bad for him, you know. And I told him, you know, why would I get upset over something, you know, this small? I said, it's not a big deal. I said, it's just you know, it is what it is. I said, it's not a big deal. I'll go to the library. And so I went to the library and got all my stuff scanned. So all is well before my job interview tomorrow. And like I said, I'm going to go into that with the mindset of don't emotionally invest and attach. Do your job, do it well. Don't emotionally attach to anything or anyone. Just do your job, do it well. Focus on school. Get out of this business. And just move on. But it upsets me that all of my education is wasted because of one bad supervisor that has blackballed me so hard I can't get another job in Texas. That upsets me. Like, I still have my license. I have not violated any ethics. This was all because she didn't like me, you know, hurt her little, you know, narcissistic feelings, you know. So whatever. And like I said, I could have obliterated that lady emotionally. I could see all her weaknesses so clearly. She was a boomer, and her pictures are always out of focus and real small, so you couldn't tell that she was older. So, you know, there's that's an easy like target, you know. But like I said, I'm a Christian, and you know, although those sinful temptation thoughts came to my head, I knew that's not how God wants me to conduct myself. So I didn't do it. I'm going to let him vindicate me, because I think there's nothing I could do about that bad company and about that whole bad experience, but move on and march forward. And that's all I can do. So anyway, if you watch this whole thing, thank you. And man, it would be nice. The days like this, I do wish I had a boyfriend. I just want to cry and then be cuddled and have sex and just watch a good movie and relax and laugh, and just that's my ideal of a great date. That, or going to Norway and looking at the northern lights. Those are the two scenarios. So one is high maintenance, because I'm sure it's not cheap to go to Norway. And, you know, one of those igloo things, those are so cool, you know, to be able to see the northern lights. That would be so freaking fantastic. That is like my ideal of like a getaway date. That would be so cool. But yeah, I'm not a beachy girl. I don't care about the beach. I mean, it's nice, but I'm not one of those that likes the ocean and the beach and all those kind of pictures. I much would rather go to Norway and, you know, be like a Norwegian and plunder and, you know, show that guy my Viking ways. I'm just kidding. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm goofy, I'm silly, and that's because I had coffee today. Thank God for Dunkin' Donuts. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace out.